You're late, Makoto. We've been waiting for you.
I bet you were afraid you'd be discovered as the murderer you are.
Let's not jump to conclusions just yet. Save that for the class trial. There we can all reveal the details of Makoto's crime.
So they really are convinced I did it, but I didn't do it. Me and Sayaka both know that all too well. But then who is the killer? The one who murdered Sayaka. Is it really one of us?
Is everyone here? Okay then. Please board the elevator in front of you, which will transport you to the courtroom, where all your fates will be decided. I'll meet you all down there. I'll be waiting.
All right, we can get reactions from everybody before I go in.
So whoever stuck us here even took the time to set up a goddamn courtroom, huh? Damn, we really gotta go through with this class trial thing, huh? If you want to confess, I guess now's the time to do it.
I'm telling you, I didn't do it.
Relax, I haven't decided 100% that you're the culprit just yet.
Maybe, but you're obviously leaning that way.
Let's get started.
I like how they put all your guys' characters right next to each other.
There's no point in standing around here. Settle your resolve and step into the future.
Sorry. In the end, I wasn't able to do any looking around or anything. Is this really how Sayaka would want us to find out who killed her?
I can't help but wonder what whoever killed Sayaka is feeling right now. Well, did you find anything that might actually prove your innocence?
Well, I did my job. I'm counting on the rest of you from here on out.
Being so insistent, even though you obviously killed her, very impressive.
She's gonna feel so dumb.
So the school basement has become the darkened stage. We're all here to bear witness to Mr. Naegi's final curtain call.
Well then, the time has finally come. Are you ready?
I guess I have no choice but to get on this elevator.
Let us begin.
Good idea.
Are you scared?
No, scared isn't quite right.
I said it before, but it's up to you to uncover the mystery surrounding this case yourself. If you don't, you'll never come to grips with the truth.
I need to uncover the truth of Sayaka's death. I didn't need someone else to tell me to do that. In Sayaka's honor, I swear I'll find out who the real killer is. As I raised my voice to try and give myself courage, I turned, trembling with anticipation, toward the elevator. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. Everyone else was already on the elevator when I finally stepped on. The doors closed and the elevator started to move.
There could only be 5 people on the elevator at the time, so we had to take turns.
And of course it had the, it's got that creepy elevator music, or like the classical music.
Do, 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 do. The steel box descended with heavy clunking sounds toward the school's basement. I wonder if this is how a death row inmate feels when his time finally comes.
Rather than that, is it not more like a defendant waiting to receive his judgment?
Oblivious to our shared anxiety, the elevator lowered us further and further into the bowels of the school.
You finally arrived. What do you think? Doesn't it feel just like a real courtroom? It's like a Hollywood movie set, right?
Not even close. It's total shit.
Okay, everyone. Find your assigned seats and sit down. Hurry up now, hurry up!
We did what he said and found our seats. The seats were arranged in a gigantic circle. It was set up so that everyone could see everyone else, which also meant it'd be easy for anyone to transfer their tension and unease onto anyone else. The air seemed to grow heavy as we sat there. And also the curtain of our first case opened. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal. A deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial.
Yeah. Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened. And the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
Of course.
Okay, then everyone close your eyes, and whoever did it, raise your hand.
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Before we move on and start the trial, can I ask a question real quick? What's going on with those pictures?
Feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier.
Friendship penetrates?
Oh my god.
Okay, but what about the other empty seat? There were only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit up to 16 people. Okay, that about does it for the preamble. Get ready to get started. First up is the case summary. Now let the class trial begin.
It's about to begin, the debate to decide who we think the killer is. Anything I found, anything I noticed, I have to be ready to speak up about anything and everything. Because this isn't just about me. Everyone's lives are on the line.
I asserted that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizano.
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom.
So it seems most likely that the killer might have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
There we go.
Right.
Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room looked. With the way things had been damaged, I think we could definitely assume there was a struggle.
A struggle? Between who? And who?
Between Sayaka and the killer, of course.
So you're saying Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom?
She must have been attacked in the main room first, and then she ran in the bathroom to try and hide. The killer followed her in, and that's where they finished the job.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's next?
Next is the subject of the murder weapon.
Oh, wow, this is starting to sound like a real trial. We need to determine what was used to kill Sayaka.
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of sharp object thrust into her stomach. Without a doubt, that is the murder weapon.
So the killer used some random knife they had on him. How could anyone do something like that, that son of a bitch?
Hold on, I feel like there's something that I just heard is different from what we already know.
Brig.
No, I do think that it was a knife, but not just any knife. It's almost positive it was a kitchen knife.
Huh? A kitchen knife?
After the murder, we discovered that one of the knives in the kitchen was missing.
Which means that the knife must be the murder weapon.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. You could sort of see the weapon sticking out of her stomach. And if you looked real close, I could totally see that being a kitchen knife.
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife. But where does that get us? I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
That's right. Makoto's room was the scene of the crime. What more proof do you need?
Oh, hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we've presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
I don't think that's true at all. I'm sure if we keep at it, something new will reveal itself.
You really believe that?
She's right. There's got to be a breakthrough somewhere just waiting for us to find it. Because I know damn well I'm not the killer. So this is when she went to get tea, I think. So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was a murder weapon. But where does that get us?
Makoto must have taken it from the kitchen, right? He did it in secret when nobody was in the dining hall. And then he went and stabbed Sayaka with it.
So he really did do it. Yes. Then it's been decided. We've reached the end.
Great.
Okay, wait, hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Next, you're gonna say you're not the killer, right? Go ahead and say it all you want.
Well, what if I have a witness? What do you think, Hina?
Huh?
Remember what you were telling me earlier?
Well, I went to get some tea from the kitchen last night, and all the knives were still there. But when I finished my tea and went back into the kitchen to wash my glass, one of the knives was gone.
So you're saying the knife disappeared while you were drinking your tea in the dining hall?
Yeah?
Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining hall, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me coming into the dining hall?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, he definitely wasn't there.
The knife disappeared while Hina was in the dining hall, but I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay, then what about this? What if the idiot swimmer girl and Makoto are in on it together and lying to protect each other?
Idiot swimmer girl. Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the pair, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened? So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone will work together, right?
But what if they did work together and they just didn't know about the rule?
Oh, good grief, enough already. No, okay? There are no accomplices in this case. Oops, did I say that out loud?
Anyway, I didn't go to the dining hall, and I didn't take the knife. So I'm not the killer.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife?
Hannah seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall. No way, I swear it wasn't me.
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that?
I can.
That's right, Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
Me.
Right.
But then, couldn't either of them have grabbed the knife?
Actually, no, because, well...
Just spit it out already.
I stayed in Hina's room last night.
Ooh.
I got so scared thanks to those creepy videos. I wasn't really thinking, I just asked her to stay over. Which means we have airtight alibis.
You stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations? We're not allowed to sleep anywhere but the dorms, but it doesn't say we have to stay in our assigned room. So, I don't think that's a problem.
It is a problem. A boy and a girl spending the night together. It's unwholesome.
But I am a girl.
What, you are? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
But if it wasn't either of you, then what other possibility is there?
Actually, there is another possibility. Right, Hina?
Oh yeah, that's true. One other person did come into the dining hall while we were there.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Well, because they're not here anymore.
Someone who's not here? Are you talking about...
Sayaka, she's the one who came to the dining hall, and then later she wound up dead.
Sayaka? Okay, so the person who took the knife from the kitchen was...
I mean, it has to be.
Yeah. Then Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
That's the only possibility. And thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual. When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen. As she left, she said she just wanted to drink a drink of water. But most likely,
And the person who took the knife was the victim herself.
I'm sure she took it for self-defense.
So you're saying the knife she took was taken from her and she was killed with it? In that case, you may not have taken the knife, but you could still have killed her.
What?
See? He did do it after all.
No, you're wrong. So that's how you would twist the argument and send us all off in the wrong direction? You possess a most terrifying talent. Damn, if I don't do something, they're gonna blame me for the murder. Don't they understand? If they convict me, everyone's gonna die.
hold on, it's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say? Because, you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering. And until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
Something was missing from the scene of crime that by all rights should have been there. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
That's a good job for you. That's right, there wasn't a single hair on the floor.
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes, and if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene is in my room.
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just the hair.
Uh-huh. Yes, very true, very true. Okay, so why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of all of it, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means.
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then Makoto isn't the culprit?
But are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
There's more though.
No, there are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it. I would like to hear these reasons. Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, and then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
The killer struggled getting into the bathroom, and the evidence that proves it is...
The fact
Doorknob.
that the doorknob was like, yeah, that one.
Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
The doorknob from my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed, and the doorknob's about ready to fall off.
Oh, yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So, what, you're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if it's the only choice you have is to break it, you'll break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
You still don't see? Okay, then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully, that will help you understand.
Kyoko said it was a bewildering act. I almost didn't notice it at first, but is that the key point here?
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room. She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try to bust down the door, because Sayaka had locked it.
And finally, the culprit had Sayaka cornered.
And to finish the job, they stabbed her with the kitchen knife.
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? Admit it! We already know the answer!
Okay, so what do we think was a lie there?
The lock
one
on the
that
bathroom
the
door.
outside being locked.
Locked?
Mhm.
Okay, let's try that. The reason my bathroom didn't open was because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with locking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that's true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck. Huh? What are you talking about? My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But you have such a cruddy door. That's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
One important detail? Something the killer didn't know. For some reason, they were convinced the door was locked, which means the important detail the killer didn't know was...
Crime took
But
place
the crime
in my
took
room.
place in his room. Yeah.
The killer mustn't have realized that it was my room. What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Ah!
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms. Which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
Then there would have been a lock on the door, and they wouldn't have had to break through.
so they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were. Ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident, but the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door open.
Regardless, it was a pointless act, wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked us.
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms? Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Okay, then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up. Quit without saving.
But what if it happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, then why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules.
Majority rules. Do you really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are out on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious, man.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem. Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question. Oh, you? You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how'd the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped a key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Then maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative. If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Fine, but how about this? The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and just said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizano just let them in. No, that can't be it either. Uh-huh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place. Hello? Why exactly can't that be it? The reason there's no way Sayaka invited the killer into the room, I already have the answer.
Probably the switching rooms.
Yeah.
Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place. The same goes for you, Sayaka. No matter who it is, don't open your door for anyone.
Even if I'm sure it's you, I absolutely won't open it. Otherwise, what's the point of even switching?
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me, can you still deny the possibility?
There's something I want to talk to you about. Just us two. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded it in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man, I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write it, it can leave an imprint, sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap, I better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room,
Huh?
which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't. But
Of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
then that note, Sayaka wrote it? But why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet them with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist? Of course, I'm only into 2D, so I wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they're at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then, pay attention. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, right? But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly, the room that Makoto was staying in. So in other words, even if someone did read the note and did know what it said, they would not have any connection to what happened.
It certainly would seem that way.
All right, which one do we think is the lie that we can expose? The reason the killer went to my room and not Sayaka's, despite what the note said, must be because. Any ideas, guys?
Yeah, it was the last one where it's talking about my room.
The nameplates on mine and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
I'm sorry. 2 seconds. That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up in Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was, well, of course, it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Right. Okay, then who did it? There's only one person who could have switched the nameplates.
Sayaka.
The killer.
Sayaka.
Ooh, yeah, I'm stuck between the killer and Sayaka,
Well,
but
the
I'd
killer
see
didn't-
Sayaka.
But the killer didn't know that the door didn't lock. They thought they were in a girl's room, so it wouldn't have been the
Yeah,
killer.
Sayaka.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I agree.
Sayaka.
Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know how to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
There's something I want to talk to you about, just us two. 5 minutes, come to me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have to write that if she knew the nameplate had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room but not telling them you'd switch rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out. We know who did it. Whoever she invited over is the culprit.
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot.
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Oh yeah, what's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist. How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist? The reason I know Sayaka's wrist was broken with a fake sword is because...
The gold on her wrist.
Yep.
Glitter.
Got it.
all you have to do is take a look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there on her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery there, see?
Is that gold?
Sure is. Specifically the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch this stuff and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it, because she got hit with the sword, right? There on the wrist.
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
What happened in my room, and what led to Sayaka's death. That's what we need to make clear.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword. And that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
So she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away. But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
That's exactly what happened.
Actually, no, I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Huh? Why not?
Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See, there's a gash in it, like somebody cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp. You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it would be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword. So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
Yep.
I think I get it. So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself, but then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
How the hell could you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
The part of her body that shows that she never used the sword.
Her palms.
Her
Her
palm.
palms.
Her palm.
You're talking about her palms, right? The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How could you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look at, you'll notice a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
No, that's not it at all. There's no way Sayaka washed the gold coating off her hands because...
The water was off.
She was afraid of water. Clearly.
According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was at around 1:30 a.m., in other words at nighttime, and the water in the bathroom shuts off at night, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
Ew.
Oh my.
You're no different. You smell like a big, fat, ugly donkey.
Such a charmer.
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment. An insult, obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the one who used the sword. But hold on, if that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
The one who damaged the sheath would have to have been the one without the sword.
Sayaka.
Sayaka.
Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was... Sayaka?
Now, do you understand? She was not blamed as a victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she had been planning to commit murder of her own.
What?
She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to her room that she was staying in. And if that's true, she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation.
Indeed, these are all the actions of an assailant.
Assailant.
Which brings up another point, Makoto. Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room, where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, they would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
Well, that plan seemed a little risky. For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not so sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior. I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why, out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid or national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Wait, then you're saying she had this planned all out?
Holy shit.
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with a knife, then found herself under attack in return. That must be when her wrist got broken and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she planned to murder.
Just hold on, that can't be true. Because...
Hey, you guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all because you ran out of time?
Oh, yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Is it really all over? Obviously, I'm committed to finding out who killed her, but what can I do? I mean, as far as clues go, there's nothing left. It's easy to just say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
Very well, then let's review all the clues we found up till this point.
Do we really have time for all that?
Die! Die! If we don't do something, we're all gonna die!
Wait, no, hold on. That's right, there is still a clue left we can use to lead us to who killed her. What clue do we think, guys?
I think dying message, yeah.
There still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message. Wait, what did you say?
The dying message. She wrote something on the wall behind her, remember? 11037, written in her own blood. There must be a clue about the killer hidden in there.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
There's no question that Sayaka wrote that message, and I can prove it.
Left index finger.
Finger.
Her left index finger had blood on it. That can only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see, she broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure, I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it, but still. What the heck do these numbers mean? 11037?
Hey, Chihiro, you're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not. Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course, that's because they're not numbers.
Oh, yeah, it looks like.
Huh? What? What?
No, it's just. Look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers. Don't these 211 look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Oh, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was 11, but looking at it now, you could also read it as an N.
Noel, did Santa do it?
Whoa, you finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little gray cells are really getting excited now.
But even if that really is an N, N037 doesn't make any more sense than before.
Damn it, it's no
Flip
use.
it.
I just don't know.
Rotate the image 180 degrees.
Huh? Rotate it? I think maybe I see something. Oh my god, now I see! She wrote down the killer's name!
Huh? You just shot past the clue part and right onto who did it?
So, whose name did she write?
Sayaka's dying message reveals the killer's name. Select someone. Who are we selecting?
Leon.
Oh my
It was this
God.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The key to solving this mystery was simply to rotate the writing 180 degrees. If you turn the message around, it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N, or more accurately, Leon.
Oh my god.
What? What the hell are you trying to talk about? It's just a coincidence. It's just a bunch of random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's not random at all. She wrote that message on the wall behind her as she was leaning up against it. In that position, she couldn't move to write it normally and had to write it upside down, as it were. And as a result, When you look at it standing in front of her, it ends up getting flipped. Try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and the letters will be inverted.
That sounds like one hell of a stretch to me. I'm not the killer. You could just go and say shit like that.
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The evidence Leon tried to get rid of?
You mean the burnt shirt piece I found lying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
As the killer stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them. And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood, they threw it into the incinerator.
But one piece burned off and got left behind.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have panicked. Isn't that right, Leon?
What?
But is one scrap of fabric enough to conclude that Leon is guilty?
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button-up.
That's right. There are plenty of other people here with shirts like mine. With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you could say for sure who it belongs to. You're right. That alone isn't enough. But there are some other points that may reveal the truth.
Are you finally starting to understand? The answers to all the riddles are right here.
Yeah, I think so. The burnt remains of the button-up shirt, which the killer wasn't able to get rid of. There's something about it we need to pay attention to in order to figure out who's responsible.
How it was disposed?
How?
Yeah, how?
If we look closely at how the shirt was disposed of, we should be able to figure out who the killer is. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. You can't reach the incinerator without opening the gate in front of the trash room, right? And obviously you wouldn't be able to hit the switch to turn it on either. You need a key to get in, and the one with the key was the person on cleaning duty. So the killer had to be whoever was in charge of taking care of the trash, right? Interesting. No, that's wrong. There's another way to use the incinerator without being the one on cleaning duty. And that's exactly what proves that Leon is a real killer. The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
So the only one who could get to the incinerator was the person in charge of the trash.
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator in order to destroy the evidence.
That one.
Which means the only possible suspect is whoever had the trash room key. Okay, so the person who would have had the trash room key was... me? Oh, no! Love
You
it.
do that too well.
Is it really impossible to have destroyed the evidence without a trash room key? No, I'm sure there was another way. Hold on. I think I knew how someone could dispose of the evidence without using the trash room key.
But if you can't get past the gate, you couldn't possibly turn on the incinerator, could you?
Yes, you could, if you used this.
What is it? Some kind of glass ball? It's busted to hell. Actually, it was supposed to be a crystal ball, but
But how would you use it?
The killer had to use a glass ball in a certain way, which was...
Throw it.
throw it.
You don't want to divine with it, guys? The killer simply took aim at the incinerator switch and threw the ball through a gap in the grate. All they had to do was hit that switch and the incinerator would come to life. Someone threw a gap in the grate? Remember what you said before, Hifumi? Someone turned the incinerator on. Very strange. I'm quite certain it was off the last time I was down here. Perhaps it was the work of a fairy. Hifumi had the key, so the only way the incinerator could have been turned on without his knowledge was because the killer was able to hit the switch without opening the gate. Once they'd gotten the incinerator going, all they had to do was ball up the shirt and toss it in. Hey, come on, what the hell is this?
All you have to do is look at the scene to know that the killer never actually went inside the trash room. The shards of broken glass, the incinerator left running, the piece of shirt that escaped the fire. If the killer had been on cleaning duty, the evidence would have been taken care of much more thoroughly.
Wait, no, just hold on.
But the distance from the gate to the incinerator has to be at least 30 feet, right? The pinpoint accuracy you'd need to throw a glass ball that far and hit something that small. Could someone really do that?
That's right. There's no way. It'd be impossible. Difficult, absolutely. Impossible? I don't think so. Because the killer is... It wouldn't have been much of a challenge at all for the killer because...
Ultimate baseball
Should
star.
be
Baseball star.
Because the killer is the ultimate baseball star. Isn't that right, Leon? Do you have any idea how stupid you sound right now?
A target 30 feet away would surely be little challenge for the ultimate baseball star.
You can't be serious. I'm not the killer. These goddamn shiverbrains have it all wrong, I'm telling you.
You still won't admit it? Okay then. Makoto, go ahead and review the incident one more time to make his crime perfectly clear. And with that, we can end this.
Listen to me. What the hell do you mean, end this? Say what you want, Leon, but all the questions have been answered and the truth has been revealed. Now here's what happened. Climax.
Climax.
All right, so we've got 10 minutes to put things where they go. So let's go to the beginning of the comic.
Oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like this part.
I think the beginning's the other direction.
Oh, is it? Oh, fucking manga. God damn Japan. Thank you, Sean. There goes a minute, guys. All right, where do we start here?
The nameplate.
That one, yeah, that's
Yep,
second to last.
All right, so they go to the door. They come in and they talk to each other, and I guess Sayaka gives them the old stabberoo. What
So
goes
the
here?
one with the sword behind him.
Yeah, the one with the sword behind him.
Okay, so she tries to stab him, but there's a sword behind him, and
He blocks it with the.
There's one more
He
way
blocks the
blocked
knife.
with the sword.
Yeah.
the old knife block routine. I see. So they face off in a kung fu battle. She gets her arm broken. Now what?
You probably have to see her break her wrist. Maybe.
No.
She
Drops the
drops
knife.
the knife.
Oh, she. Yeah.
Scene before that.
Then Act 2, she busts into the bathroom, and they try the door. She hurts her arm, and then she notices something.
Are we sure about that? I think this golden sword there might go where she dropped the knife.
Yeah, I don't think that.
So like, can we go one back? I think that one dropping the knife might be on the way into the bathroom. I think that one might be
Yeah, it's probably the threatening with the sword.
This one?
yeah,
Or no?
because he
Okay.
hits her with the
Maybe.
sheet and then he has the sword.
Okay, so then she
But
runs into the
now she-
bathroom, and now what?
No, but he has the knife
probably
before he
the-
goes in the bathroom.
There she drops the knife on her way to the bathroom.
Well, she was dropping it in the scene before. No, 'cause
Yeah, I don't think
that's
we
Oh,
when
used
so
she
this
he's
was
got
trying to
the
get in
knife in
bathroom.
this next panel.
Yeah, so I think we
Yeah.
were right. I think we.
Well, the
Well,
other image had the drop knife already.
Yeah.
Yeah, see right
she's
there,
dropping
she's
it.
dropping the
Okay,
knife.
so what goes here?
The one where he's
the-
trying to open the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. He tries to open the door. He's got a knife and he's unhappy. And then she's like, oh. Then what?
Oh wait, it's probably not trying to open the door. Maybe it's the
Screwdriver.
picking the
Oh, the
lock with the
screwdriver one?
screwdriver.
Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
No,
No,
before
back,
that.
back.
All right.
Yeah,
Screwdriver?
here.
Okay. So he opens it and then he pushes his way in. You can see the door's open a little bit. Then she freaks out. And what happens here?
Her writing the name.
No, that happens later, I think. Yeah, 'cause she's still
No,
there.
it
and
has
he's
to
there.
happen right
No,
there.
Yeah,
Because
it's later on.
in the next
Oh,
scene it's
okay.
there.
Yeah.
All right, so she writes the name in blood after she gets stabberooed. Then Act 3, this guy, what?
Lint brush.
Lint roller?
Paintbrush.
Mhm.
Lint roller.
Lint roll.
does a bit of a cleaning routine, and then in Act 4, what do we got?
The bowl.
The clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the ball.
Holding the ball.
Holding the ball. Yeah, throws the ball, the big old wind-up pitch, which hits the gray button, turning it on. And then they tie up their clothes, and then what?
He throws the shirt. Is that
Throw
first
The
one?
pants.
Throwing the shirt,
Throwing-
the
Shirt,
in the
shirt, pants.
dryer.
Yeah.
This one?
In the
Yeah.
incinerator. Yeah, that.
Okay. Then I guess I leave. And what happens at the end here?
The
The
burnt
shirt
sleeve.
sleeve.
Burnt sleeve.
Burnt sleeve. Reenact. I think I'd better take one more look back at the case from the beginning. Last night, the killer went to the room Sayaka was staying in. Other words, my room. From what we can tell, Sayaka invited that person there, intending to kill them. She attacked them with a knife she'd taken from the kitchen earlier. But then something happened that she wasn't prepared for. They grabbed a fake sword I'd put in my room and fought back. During the struggle, a strike from the sword broke Sayaka's right wrist. And that's when she lost her grip on the kitchen knife. Finding herself cornered, Sayaka panicked and ran into the bathroom. The killer went after her but couldn't get the bathroom door open. What they didn't know was that my bathroom door could get stuck easily, and that there was a trick to opening it. Sayaka knew about that because I'd told her, but of course the killer had no way of knowing. So instead the killer forced the door open, took the kitchen knife, and stabbed Sayaka. But with the strength she had remaining, Sayaka left a dying message. To keep the killer from noticing, she wrote it on the wall behind her. And with that, all her strength was gone. With Sayaka dead, the killer quickly began destroying the evidence. First off, they took off their shirt, which was now covered in the victim's blood. Then they took the lint roller in my room and cleaned up the entire area. They wanted to make sure they got rid of any trace they'd ever been there. Afterwards, the killer decided to head to the trash room to destroy their bloody shirt. They tried to use the burnt shirt to use the incinerator there, but the trash room was blocked off by an especially sturdy gate, preventing access to the incinerator. So they came up with a plan to use Hiro's crystal ball, which he'd left in the laundry room. The killer managed to throw the ball through the gap and hit the gate and the incinerator switch. For any normal person, that'd be an impossible throw, but the killer had the confidence to take a shot. And that's because the killer was the ultimate baseball star. The crystal ball, thrown with absolute precision, hit the switch on the incinerator, which then quickly roared to life. Having destroyed the final piece of evidence, they left the area with, I imagine, a sigh of relief. But there was one thing that they had missed. Part of the shirt, which they'd thrown into the fire, burnt away and fell out of the incinerator. The killer didn't notice this, and so left behind a piece of indisputable evidence.
Baboom!
Isn't that right, Leon?
Complete.
It would appear that Hiro simply forgot his crystal ball in the laundry room. You went there to try and wash the blood out of your shirt, and that's when you saw it, right? Seeing the ball, you thought of a way to take care of everything.
So, Leon, do you object to anything that's been said?
Do I object? Oh, yes, I object. Of course I do. I object, I object, I object! I mean, all of this is just a bunch of stupid theories. You need evidence. Where's the evidence? Without evidence, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit, and I refuse to acknowledge it.
Well then, I guess this is a good time as any to present the evidence that proves you did it. Makoto, I believe you're in possession of that evidence.
I have evidence?
When the killer broke the bathroom doorknob, they didn't use anything from your room to do it. So what did the killer use?
What did the killer use to take apart the doorknob? I refuse to acknowledge you. You're stupid, stupid, stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid. I have to show the indisputable evidence that Leon is a killer. I need to figure it out.
He thought it was Sayaka's room, so he didn't know there was a screwdriver set in there.
The screws on the bathroom doorknob were removed. I wonder what kind of tool the killer used to remove them.
I mean, it had to be a screwdriver, right? Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure the toolkits we each got had one inside.
That must be what he used. There weren't any other tools anywhere. But the toolkit in my room had clearly never been used.
That's because the culprit didn't know it was your room. They thought they were in Sayaka's room.
Only the boys got toolkits, so the killer naturally assumed that there wouldn't be one in there.
Okay, whose toolkit did the killer use? Stupid, stupid, stupid! It had to be their very own toolkit. Stupid, stupid, stupid! Leon, would you mind showing us your toolkit? If I'm right about this, then the screwdriver will be show some evidence of being used.
And if you say you used it for something else, you'll have to explain exactly when, where, and why.
And let me say this right now. I lost it isn't an excuse at this point.
Spid?
So, you have no rebuttal?
Then it would seem we are finished here.
Looks like you reached your verdict. Then are we ready to cast our votes? You all have a lever in front of you. Use it to make your selection. Oh, and just to remind you all, make triple sure you vote for someone. You wouldn't want to be punished for something so minor, right? Okay then, let's get excited. Who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Why the flowers? What the hell?
That's just prizes.
Oh, looks like you got it right on the money. The blackened in this case, the one that killed Sayaka, was none other than Leon Kawada.
Hold on a second. Leon, did you really kill Sayaka?
I don't believe it.
Son of a bitch, what the hell is wrong with you?
I didn't have a choice. It was kill or be killed. So that's why I killed her first. None of you are any different. One wrong step and you'd be the one standing here. It was complete chance that I wound up like this. I was just unlucky, that's all. Hey, come on. You expect me just to accept my death? Everything's become clear.
Could have run away.
The decision we made was right after all. But when I think about that, honestly, I'd be better off if we'd been wrong. Because if what we came up with was really the truth, then that truth is that Sayaka was trying to frame me. But even if that's true, I can't say she was wrong. After all, the mastermind, it's all because of that video. Even I couldn't handle what I saw in there. If I was her, and the video actually had something to do with me, I can't even imagine.
Now we're trapped in here with no way out. They're probably waiting for me. I can't afford to be stuck in here.
The one thing that was more important to her than anything else, her dreams, her friends, To have seen something like that happen to them, and Sayaka.
I did whatever it took to reach that dream. I mean it. Even some things that weren't so pleasant.
And that's why Sayaka, for the friendship meant so much to her. That's why she betrayed me. So when she said,
No matter what happens, please always be there for me. I need you on my side.
she was lying to me from the very beginning. She was using me. Is that why she talked to me in the first place? I guess I'll never know. Because there's nothing I can do to ask her what she was thinking. Once you're dead, that's that.
Well, howdy. The entertainment industry must sure be terrifying, huh? I mean, to try and kill someone just because of those relationships. She seemed so nice and lovely on the outside, but inside, she descended into pure madness.
What did you say?
I understand, really I do. Yep. You're in utter despair thanks to Sayaka's betrayal, right? Compassion, intimacy, love. The stronger those feelings, the stronger the despair when they collapse.
Stop screwing with us. This is all your fault. Sayaka being forced to do something like that, all of it, everything. It's all your fault. Suddenly in a frenzy, I lunged at Monokuma, but
That's enough.
as angry as I was, Kyoko latched on my arm without hesitation. Her grip was like iron, strong enough that I was sure it would leave a bruise.
If you really want to make her enemies pay for what they've done, you need to let it go for now.
Damn it!
Ah, that was a close one. I thought for sure you were gonna give me a good walloping. Just barely avoided punishment, you did. Now, then, since you so magnificently revealed the identity of the killer during the class trial, the blackened Leon Kuwata will receive his punishment.
Punishment? You mean execution? Oh, wait a second. I didn't have a choice. I had to kill her. Yeah, that's it. I was just protecting myself in the heat of the moment. It was self-defense.
How exactly was it self-defense? When you forced your way into the bathroom, did you or did you not use your very own toolkit? After she'd shut herself in the bathroom, you went out of your way to head back to your own room. Then you came all the way back, broke into the bathroom, and killed her. Am I wrong? You had any number of chances to stop what you were doing, but you chose not to. It's not because you had an unclouded intent to commit murder?
No, that's not. Stop it. I've had enough of this.
Oh, are you sure? You were closer to her than anyone, were you not? He killed your precious Sayaka. Do you understand?
I can't say Leon is solely to blame. Of course, I don't plan on blaming Sayaka either. Because the one to blame is him.
What?
If it weren't for you, this never would have happened to Sayaka or Leon. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be fighting against the one who put us in this situation, the mastermind.
Oh, did you awaken to your sense of justice? Well, it just so happens that there is nothing more unethical than an unwavering sense of justice. After all, it's people with that sort of mentality that perpetuate war all over the world. Is that the kind of justice that just awakened within you?
Just shut up.
Okay, well, anyway, more importantly, let's hurry up and get to what everyone's been waiting for, the punishment.
I'm begging you, please don't do this.
No more begging, no more excuses. You must pay the penalty for breaking the rules. Society demands it.
No, stop, please.
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment for Leon Kuwata, the ultimate baseball star.
No, 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 no.
Let's give it everything we got. It's punishment time.
No. Leon has been found guilty. Time for the punishment.
He's gonna get baseballed to death.
That's pretty fucked.
Yeah, they're essentially stoning him. Yep. I would not watch this.
Catchy soundtrack though.
Huh, yeah.
Wow,
Feels
that's
like there should be
completely
more
fucked.
baseballs there, honestly. What we saw? That was the true face of despair. I mean, if we can't call it that, what else could we call it?
Woo! Extreme! Man, my adrenaline is pumping right out of control.
Ah!
What's going on? I can't take this anymore. Do I really have to keep doing this? I just can't take it.
Well, hey, if you don't like it, all you gotta do is to swear to cut all ties with the outside world and accept living here forever. But that's only if every single one of you can get on board with that.
Man, fuck you. Why the fuck are you doing all this evil shit to us?
Evil? You make it sound like I'm some dark, awful secret society type of guy. Or, in this case, a dark, awful secret society type of bear.
So what are you putting an upstanding young citizen like me through such a grueling ordeal?
It seems like you're trying to use common sense to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. That's like trying to put a mile on a scale. I just don't think it's possible.
Hey, I don't know what you're saying, and I'm not quite fit together.
You piece of shit. I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna pound your ass into the ground.
You must really hate me to get so angry, huh? But if you do that, you're breaking way up the wrong tree. What happened because more than one of you decided you wanted to get out, right? No matter how much time passes, you can't cut free of your regrets from the outside world. You're to blame.
Well, of course we can't cut free of the outside world. Being trapped in this insane place.
You're trapped, are you? Well, I'm sure once you learn all the mysteries of the school, your thinking will change for sure. You think, boy, isn't that so wonderful how we get to live here forever?
What are you trying to say?
I feel like there's some deeper meaning hidden in there. Just like before.
Anyway, let's get to the Blackened's punishment. That's what everyone is waiting for after all.
When you say,
Sorry, I said everything. I've got to say, I need to save some of the fun for later.
And just like that, he was gone. He left us there overwhelmed by a nightmare turned to reality. Even after he was gone, we stood there forever, unable to move. Actually, no, it wasn't that long, I think. Everyone just lost their sense of time. We were all too scared. Scared of being alone.